Here's my review of The Last of Us Season 2. Unfortunately, to me, I found this to be was a disappointing season because I thought that Season 1 was practically perfect. I thought it was incredible. And keep in mind, I have not played any of the games, so I'm only really judging this as just a show, but I do know that the stuff that happens in this stuff happens in the games. But to me, I'm gonna get into just massive spoilers. I mean, all my reviews are spoilers, but I just got to get right into it. With them killing off Joel in the second episode, it really just makes the show just not as good. Like Joel, in my opinion, is such a great character. The show as a whole just suffers without him, and I really just think it's as simple as that. And these other characters, and even Ellie, is just not as interesting or likable or as compelling as someone like Joel. I really think it's just that because, in my opinion, the best episode in the entire show, or at least in this season, is a flashback episode. I love the flashback episode where Joel basically surprised Ellie for her birthday, and he took her to this museum, climbing this dinosaur. It just felt just so beautiful. In the scene where they're in the spaceship together, it was just beautiful. It just felt like so nice, like this bonding between. I mean, they're not related. He's not their father, but they have he's almost like, it's almost like his adoptive daughter. It is just a beautiful scene, and just I love this scene right here. What they do with the sound design when she puts on the helmet and just imagines herself taking off into space. Like that scene was just beautiful, and that was just my favorite episode. I think that shows just how strong of a pairing they are. And even when in the first episode, just they don't get along, and just they make Ellie so mean and unlikable that it just, so even when they do interact before Joel dies, it's just not as good. It's like I said, I'm sure that's what the game is like. I get it. But just for me personally, I just thought that it just didn't work for me. I didn't enjoy Ellie, and I didn't enjoy how she acted towards Joel. It's just frustrating. And even like the romance in this show, like I think of like an episode. I think about the episode where there's a relationship between Ellie and Dina. I think it's like even that, it wasn't nearly as compelling as like someone like Frank and Bill from season 1. It's just a big downgrade because just all of these characters. It's really okay. Because I think I think the most important thing when it comes to like a movie or a show, at least for me, is characters. Because yes, you could have a great story, but if you don't have compelling characters to push that story, it's just not as, like, it could still be good, but for me, the story wasn't all that great, and the characters weren't either. So it's just two things, because obviously you want both. But at least if the plot isn't the best, but you still love the characters, you are able to enjoy it. But for me, it's just these characters aren't as interesting, and that's why my favorite episode was a flashback episode with Joel. And I sound like I'm hating on the show. I think that the season as a whole is pretty solid. It's just when we go from the highs of season 1 to just this, it's just so, I think that in the noticeable drop in quality, I think for when Joel's not there, at least to me, it just like, even then the show, by the time it ends, it doesn't feel finished because, like I said, I haven't played the games, but apparently they're stretching The Last of Us season, like the game, into like 3 seasons. So this is only like part 1 of the second game. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating. And don't get me wrong, there is some awesome infected action here. I thought that like the scene, like where all the infected were attacking the wall, that was awesome. And also there's like the whole subplot of course, Abby, where she wants to kill Ellie because Joel, well, she killed Joel because Joel killed her dad in season 1, and who could have basically saved the world. But it's just like, and I didn't mind Abby. I mean, she was good, but it's just like none of these characters, for me, were just as compelling as they could have been. But that's just me. Also, I will say, one of the other things that I quite like, though, about the season is exploring all these different factions. Like, the faction in the woods. And then you had, like, one thing that just threw me off is when I saw the actress who played Patty Farrell in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies was in this episode. It honestly just made me laugh out loud. I thought that was just funny. This was an interesting episode as well. There's a lot of good here. It's just, for me, the negatives just bring it down. And if you even notice, like, you might even be able to tell by watching this review, I feel that I'm struggling really for things to talk about, because despite this, I think this was even less episodes than the first. I think this was only like 7. It's like, it doesn't even feel like that much happens. And it feels like, because we know it's basically just a part 1 of like what's going to be 2 more seasons. So it just, you feel like you get to the end, you're like, that's it? There's not even that much to it. So I think they just needed more episodes, and they just had, I hope with season 2, they just work better on the characters. Because to me, just Ellie is just not as compelling, and she's just not likable here. I want the other characters to be more interesting, because I think it's just so noticeable, the giant piece missing that is Joel. And it's frustrating. It really is, but oh well. It's like, the best I could hope. Like I said, I still think that this is a good season of television. I do. I think that all the acting is great. I think that production design is great. I think Catherine O'Hara is really good in I think she was only in 1 episode as Joel's therapist in episode 1. I mean, and there's a lot of good stuff in here, but it feels like it's surrounded by just mediocrity. That just brings it down. So yeah, this is not a bad season of television. It's not. There are people who are absolutely hating on this show. To me, I don't think it was bad. But if I were to like rank it, which of course I'm going to do, whereas I put the first season at like a 10 out of 10, I thought it was basically perfect. This is like a 5 or a 6 to me, where it's not bad. It's just mediocre. And because I feel like the people who are saying it's just completely terrible are ignoring the genuinely great stuff in here. Like I said, this whole episode I thought was just fantastic. So, like, at least for me, I thought it was great. So there are good things here. But the show as a whole, this season as a whole, I found to be disappointing, unfortunately. So that was good, but it's like, it could have been so much better.